Today I'm going to do a very quick, simple seascape for you. And the reason I'm going to do this is I had done this one up here earlier and I was demonstrating on how to do those white fluffy clouds for my new blog, but I couldn't leave it as just a few clouds in the sky there. I had to finish it off, so I very quickly did the little seascape in the front. And I thought you might be interested to see how I did this painting very quickly. So I tried this one here. Now, some of the reasons why you might want to do a quick painting would be if you're feeling like you want to paint but you don't know what to paint, you're not feeling particularly inspired, or you just want some inspiration. Doing a quick painting can get you in the mood and get you going with your painting. And the more painting you do, the more ideas you get. So if you're stuck for ideas, just doing some quick painting might help you to spark off that imagination. If you're getting a bit tight with your painting, this is a really good way to loosen up because you don't have time to fiddle too much. You give yourself a time limit and try and stick to that time limit, and you'll find that you'll get the basics down. And that's about all you have time for. And talking about getting the basics down, it can really cement in your mind your method for larger paintings or other paintings, because you need to think it through before you start, what colours you want to use, how you're going to do it from top to bottom or bottom to top, or whether you're going to mix it up, because you need to know exactly what you're doing before you start, and that can really help you later on. Also, if you want to do some quick colour studies, in this one here I've used ultramarine blue, which I use quite a lot in my seascapes, but I wanted to give a lighter, more sunny day sort of feel to my next painting. So in this one I've used Pthalo Blue and mixed my colours with that instead of the ultramarine, and you can see the difference in the colour. Bring this down here, put it next to it, so you can see the difference in the colours there. And this one I think looks like a much brighter, sunnier type of day. This one looks a bit more cloudy to me. So a quick colour study to see if my thinking for my next painting is going to work, and that's the reason why I'm doing this one. So there's some reasons to do a quick one, and mainly just to have fun. Just get the paints out and do some painting and have some fun with it. So let's get started. I'll show you how I did it. Today we're going to do a quick paint challenge. Now I had already painted this and I'd had to stop the recording halfway through the picture and I forgot to press record again, so I'm going to have to do it again. So this is basically what we're doing, but the picture will come out different in the next slot. So I'm going to gesso over this and then we will start again, and I'll show you how to do a quick seascape. I've already pre-mixed the colours to streamline the process a bit. So I'm just going to use big flat number 18. And I'm going to use a mixture of Pthalo Blue and white in the top of the sky. Add a bit more Pthalo Blue in there and darken it up a bit. Some interesting patterns from the gesso underneath. And grab some this slightly lighter version. Do the horizon line. I'm going to add a bit of white in there to lighten it up even more as it goes down to the horizon in the sky. Let's check I have pressed record this time. I'm going to get my filbert brush and grab some white and put in some fluffy clouds. I'm smoothing out the bottom of the clouds so they're flatter. And before I pick up more white, I'm wiping off my brush so I don't have too much blue in the mix. And as the clouds come down, they get smaller, a little bluer. And the unevenness of the coat underneath, when I had the streaks of whitenings, helped to make that illusion of clouds as well. And I'm going to get my mop brush. I'm just going to very gently, very lightly go up and then across. Give those clouds a bit more of a puffy, sunny day look. And then I'm going to get my flat brush again and do the water. So I'm going to use a darker version of that sky, and I've just put a little bit of the Alizarine in there. It's got a little bit of the lemon yellow, or the Cadmium Yellow Light, which is like a lemon yellow. And doing the horizon line there. And the textures in the gesso. And I'm going to get my mop brush again and just very gently go over that horizon line. And I'm going to get a slightly green version of that colour, so that's just got a bit more of the yellow in it to make it a little bit greener. It's still reasonably dark. Paint's not flowing quite as smoothly this time round. I'll just get my canvas a little spray to get the paint moving. That's better. And as I come down, I add more white and more yellow to the mix. Make a lighter green water. And then I'm going to go even lighter, so that's just got more of the yellow and more white in there. And I can work some of that colour up, and I'm using kind of a crisscross motion with my brush to get wave kind of movements, or the ripply movements in the water. And then I'm going to get some of the blue that I used up here and put some of that in there where the wet sand is going to be starting to mix in, and you'll get lots of sky reflections. I'm going to wash my brush off. I'm going to get some of the light brown, and that's just mixed with the alizarin and the yellow to make an orange, and then just added a tiny bit of phthalo blue and the white until I got the colour I wanted. And this is just a darker version of that exact same mix, because the wet sand's always a bit darker than the dry sand. Just scrubbing that into the canvas to cover up those white dots that I'm getting, and then just smoothing it out. Wash my brush off and pick up some more of that light colour, and I'm going to mix some of that light colour in with the water so we can see how the brown and of the sand is mixing with the surf. Now I'm ready to figure out where my waves are going to be, so I'm just going to get some white and have a look where I want the waves to be breaking or the surf to be, and you want to vary the shapes. I'm putting a bit of wave up there. And now I've got a little bit of blue mixed in with my brush, so I'm just going to put in some of these little ripples at the top here, and that will be sky reflecting onto the tops of the ripples in the water. Which will be bigger the further down you come. And I'm doing like a little C shape for those. And I haven't done this bit because that's the front of the wave. I don't like some of those white lines, so let's get rid of those. Now I'm going to get some of my dark paint, and I'm just going to tap in dark line on the bottom of that wave. Just wiping some of the paint off my brush so I can go back over and blend it in just a little bit. I don't want it completely blended, but I don't want it to stand out quite that much. And I'm going to do the same with some dark just under the white, so it'd be like a shadow from the foam there. And while that wave is still wet, I'll wash my brush and pick up some of the light green from down here, and I'm just going to put a little bit of that in the top and blend it in, and that's where the light's shining through as the wave gets thinner as it's about to crash over. I'm going to get a smaller brush now and get around number 3, and I want to do some of the little shadows. Underneath the foam, and I'm going to do some little shadow lines where the foam will be here as well. So I'm just doing like a zigzaggy little motions. And I'm going to get a slightly lighter version. Put down here on the lighter green. And do the same thing, little zigzaggy motions. Because the paint's wet, sometimes it's dropping paint in and sometimes it's scraping paint up, so you're getting variation of colour there, and that's fine. And then I'm going to use some brown for down here. So it'll look like the sands all getting churned up with the surf. And I'm trying to be quite random with my patterns. And I'm going to get my filbert brush and some white. Oops, I've got some blue in there. Right that time. Try that again. So a filbert brush with some white, and I'm just tapping it on where I want the foam to be. And I'm making this one a bit smaller. I'm going to get my liner brush. I'm going to water down that white mixture. And I'm going to highlight the little foam patterns as they run back into the sea. And I'm not exactly following my shadowed little squiggles, but I am putting some of it around there so it looks like the shadow of the foam on the water. I'm going to do quite a lot of foam in this corner. So it looks like it's nice foamy bit there. And I can put some little bits coming down from this wave here. I'm doing kind of a zigzaggy type pattern. Because we're looking straight onto this wave, the foam kind of looks like it's coming straight up the wave. If we were looking at the side, we'd be curving it more up this way. And then I'm just angling the foam down the bottom a bit to join up with the foam down here. Now I want a bit more of my dark. For the shadow underneath that foam. Do a few more foamy squiggles here. Still working on doing the shadows underneath the foam. Little shadows underneath the foam where this wet sand is. Got some white colour in there instead of the dark. I'm darkening up that shadow around this foam here. Mixing with the white a bit because the paint's still wet. And we can use that to our advantage in places where we can show the shadows at the bottom of the foam. Use my flat brush and do a few foamy bits on the top of that wave. Breaking up the foam bits so it looks a bit more natural. And you can go back through and put any shadows in that you Right. The idea is not to get too fiddly with this one. It's a quick painting, not a whole finished studio piece. Just get you in the mood for painting, try out different colours. Smoothing out some of those shadow lines so not so harsh in places. I'm going to use my small, full bit stiff brush and put in the highlights for the foam. Where I feel like I want it. So it's pretty dry brush, pretty dry paint, so you can get the little bits of foam coming through. The pattern of the brush helps to make that foamy look. And then if you feel like it, you can a bit of watery sand colour, and you can do a few little flicks with your brush. A bit of dark, a bit of lighter sand colour. I've got enough paint on my brush, it's not flicking off. Use an even lighter sand colour, almost white but not quite. A fan brush and make a very watery mixture of this sky colour, a bit of brown right there. Smooth that out. And I'm just going to go straight down, show you some of the reflections in that sand. I'm going to wipe most of the paint off my brush and then go this way. And then I can just go back and tidy up those little shadows under here. And I may want to add just a little bit more of the bright white. These little foamy bits here. So here's the final painting now that it's dry. So remember, you're doing just a quick painting and don't get too fiddly and have some fun with it. Just enjoy getting the paints out and having a go. See you next time. Happy painting!